Everyone has memories watching their favorite animated series growing up. One that has been around for quite a while now would have to be Tom and Jerry. Ah yes, the tale of comedic fights between the iconic pair of foes, a house cat by the name of Tom and a mouse who lives in the walls named Jerry. The series typically followed the antics of the two attempts at having the best of the other and the destructive chaos that would ensue as a result. Even though Tom tends to develop clever strategies and is obviously much larger, he rarely succeeds at beating Jerry, who has some pretty fast feet that always seem to get him away from trouble and back into those walls. This beloved cartoon is notorious for some of the most violent gags ever displayed in an animated series, especially for one targeted to children. Whether it be tools like axes, firearms, explosives, and even poison, there really is no shortage of crazy violent scenes throughout this show that has been around since 1940. Over these 80 years, different variations of the show have begun to pop up here and there, mostly as short films before the TV series hit. Fast forward to 1992, the first feature film Tom and Jerry the movie released, bringing the animated story to a longer duration for fans. But it doesn't stop there. We'll be getting a live-action Tom and Jerry movie in 2021. Here's what we know.
'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
You heard that right, the legendary animated duo Tom and Jerry are taking their feuds to the big screen. We've gotten a first look at the movie with a new trailer, giving us a pretty good idea of what we could expect from the cat and mouse foes and their usual antics in theaters next year. From the first glance, Tom and Jerry both seem to look similar to their animated counterparts, still with the child story-like characters while adding a live-action backdrop behind them. We should be grateful for this, as the Sonic live-action film brought an odd hedgehog rendition to the beloved video game character, failing to bring it to life. What's the most surprising, but also kinda disappointing, is just how much emphasis the film seems like it's going to place upon the human characters in the film, a perspective foreign to the animated series. And while this would definitely be interesting to see, we can't help but fear a lacking of a storyline for our favorite animal duo. There is hope though. We've still been provided a few timeless Tom and Jerry chaos moments where Jerry is shown getting the best of Tom, trying hard not to kill him. Arguably the most entertaining rivalries in animated television history is finally being reignited when our cheese-loving friend Jerry sets his sights on a move to New York City's finest hotel just before the wedding of the century, which leads to the event's planner to enlist the help of none other than Tom to help to get rid of the pesky mouse. Of course, a rat chase in the hotel on the eve and day of a wedding is a recipe for disaster for this worried event planner, as the whole fiasco threatens to sabotage her career, the wedding, and honestly, probably the hotel itself as well. But that's not all. Later on, an even larger issue than the antics of Tom and Jerry comes about. A diabolical hotel staffer works against Tom, Jerry, and the event planner, all for his own unknown motives. There's no denying the excitement of the impending release of the Tom and Jerry's live-action rendition. Even though a lot of people are definitely excited about the chance to relive their childhood nostalgia on the big screen in a real-life way, many also worry about just how successful the film will actually be. What's with all the negativity? Well, it probably has to do with how the Tom and Jerry shows have typically seen more success through a short feature display lasting really just around 7 to 10 minutes. This poses obvious concern for the film's ability to keep the audience engaged and entertained by the rough humor for a full-length feature film duration in theaters. On another note, the TV series is also notorious for extremely loud, noisy effects to emphasize the violent encounters between Tom and Jerry. It's also important to touch on just how practical the film is really gonna look with real-life human characters interacting with the two lead animated characters without the film seeming really off. If the trends prove to continue, other animated series adaptations on the big screen like Dumbo and Sonic met mixed reviews due to an uninterested audience. It really is just going to be hard to be able to predict just how successful this live-action film will end up being. In an effort to combat difficult predictions for the film, the creators of the films have set their sights on some high-profile actors to fill their cast. Topping the roster is Chloe Grace Moretz, who will be playing the role of Kayla, the aforementioned event planner who is in charge of the wedding of the century at the most coveted hotel in all of New York City when a rambunctious mouse by the name of Jerry stumbles in to call the hotel his home. This child actor in The Desperate Housewives turned A-list actress in films like Carrie and Netflix roles like Brain on Fire is ready to set her sights on the live-action animated hybrid mix that is Tom and Jerry. The only other cast member we really know of as of now is Michael Anthony Pena, who will play the role of Terrence in Tom and Jerry. Most recently known for his leading role in the Netflix TV series Narcos Mexico, there's not much we can expect out of his character since we know so little, but it's bound to be good. It looks like recently movie theaters are being flooded with reboots and remakes of famous movies or series that try to use the nostalgia factor. And unfortunately, it seems like these new movies have lost a lot of quality compared to the old masterpieces. Movies like The Lion King or Mulan are certainly very well-made productions, but what made the franchises successful in the first place was the attention to detail in the story and the wonderful characters, and not good-looking special effects. In the end, names like Tom and Jerry attract a lot of people, but if the films are not convincing, it also harms Tom and Jerry as a brand. There you have it. That's all we really know about the Tom and Jerry live-action movie. This Warner Bros. And Warner Animation Group rendition of the beloved animated series is set to hit theaters on March 5th, 2021, so long as the events of 2020 don't impede on its release schedule. This will serve as the franchise's first blockbuster film release to feature the beloved duo characters in nearly 30 years, with its predecessor receiving poor ratings. All we can really do now is hope for a nostalgia-filled and enjoyable experience that will bring us back to the joys of the animated series back in the day. Let's face it, we really just don't know much, so it's really hard to call the shot on how it will turn out. But one thing we can definitely count on is an eager audience ready to enjoy a taste of their childhood memories with our favorite cat and mouse. Are you excited for the release next year? Leave a comment down below and let us know. And while you're at it, give this a thumbs up down below and don't forget to subscribe.